I was here, I witnessed Donato giving you these pillows and the joy and laughter you had while you were drunk in the kitchen at 3 p.m. right before we went to the Halloween parade.
That's right. That was on Old Hallows Eve.
Yes, a couple of things, by the way. Shout out our fans, shout out us being silly. Is two things happened. One, we were very confused as to why nobody was wearing costumes at our Durham, North Carolina show, because we realized that episode came out after Durham, North Carolina. So the people who went to the Durham, North Carolina show were probably like, I would have worn a costume had I known. Secondly, we also said on the podcast that we were going to be wearing Mr. Robot costumes and at the Halloween parade. So there might have been people looking for Mr. Robots, but instead we wore Batman.
That's right.
So we did a lot of switcheroos and apologize.
We did a switcheroo. So we had said on the podcast, everyone coming to the dorm show on 10/29, wear costumes. We're like, wear them. It'll be crazy. We'll pull you up on stage. We'll have a contest, right?
Yeah.
So we go out in Durham.
Yes.
A couple thousand people. We get out there. At the end of the show, we turn up the lights and we're like, let's get these costumes on stage.
Yes.
And one girl was in like a Robin mask.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was like nobody had one person was there wearing antlers. Or something
Nobody
like that.
cared.
Out of 2,000 people. So we turned up the lights. We're like, all right, let's see those costumes.
Yeah.
And then everybody just like kind of was like looking at us, and I'm like, oh, if you're wearing a costume, stand up.
Yeah.
And then like 4 people, maybe 3.
4 people out of maybe 2,000 people.
Yeah. And I think that like, and they weren't even like all out costumes. It was like I said, it was nothing.
Right.
It was like an afterthought. Like those are just probably just fun people. We didn't realize though.
Right.
We were like, all right, I guess this is not going to work. This costume thing we had planned.
Here's the only way to rectify it. Why don't? Because we're co-headlining together December 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31 in Texas, Missouri, and Ohio. Why don't we pick one of those shows? Or should we just ask all 5, if you're coming to any of those shows, wear a costume?
How about everyone just comes as Santa?
Why don't we do that? If you're coming to any one of those shows, whether it be in Dallas, Houston, Sugar Land, Texas, St. Louis, Missouri, Cincinnati, Ohio, or Columbus, Ohio, dress as Santa to one of those shows. We will pick the best Santa and bring them on stage.
That's right. And maybe should we get like a $25 Lowe's gift card or something?
We're going to get him a $25 Lowe's gift card, and the best Santa comes up on stage on a chair, and then me and Sal will sit on your lap, and we'll tell you what we want for Christmas.
Boom.
That's what it is. So if you want
this has to air before then.
Yes. Make sure that this one comes out.
Yeah, that was my fault. Sorry. Guys.
Yeah.
No, but we didn't know. We flew home that weekend like that was wonderful, but man, they didn't get on board. Then like we didn't talk to him, but then like a week later, Pimp's like, oh, you know, the episode where you asked them to wear costumes is coming out this week.
Yeah.
And we were on stage going, what's going on here, people?
Yeah.
We're like, why did you not come in costume? They must have thought we were lunatics.
Well, I actually pushed the Island Boy one up. I just couldn't help it.
Well,
it was really
but you know what, though?
fault.
Honestly, I kind of feel like that was an executive decision you made, which we appreciate, because the Island Boys came out at the right time.
Yeah.
The Island Boys needed to come out when it came out.
Yeah, because now everyone's all over those Island Boys.
Now, did you see Pimp also sent a video to our group chat that I want to put on the podcast right now? Is the little people dressing up as Island Boys, doing it in a sink.
Yes.
Which was shout out to little people who did this, who sat in a sink. I mean, it was pretty funny. I mean, you guys may have seen this already, but I mean, this puts our Island Boy bits to shame.
Island Boy, just trying to make it.
And this kind of does look like me and Sal as little people.
Island Boy.
I love that they're wearing jeans.
Yeah, I know. So shout out. In a sink is funny. Yeah, shout it out.
You guys are funny.
So and yeah, babe.
So Halloween too.
First of all, I gotta be honest
we were
with
drunk
you.
before we left the house.
Drunk before we left the house on the ferry. I'm gonna be honest with you. Probably the most fun I've had in years of anything in my life.
Really?
Was at that Halloween parade,
Oh,
walking
that
with
makes me so
what were there,
happy.
17 of us?
17
walking as full Batmen.
Yes.
And women.
Yes.
And babies.
Yes.
And people were taking pictures. What I think the funniest thing was I don't know if you were too in front, but I know Pimp saw this. We had an inn. I think a friend of a friend was a police officer working the parade, let us in through a special barricade.
Yeah.
17 of the Batmen walked in, and then the officer said, you cut off that barricade at that last Batman. You cut it off. Not a single person can be let in after that. Slams the barricade after me. I was the 17th Batman, and then slams the barricade on award-winning actor Liev Schreiber and his family. Legitimately,
Liev Schreiber, yeah.
Liev Schreiber. Liev Schreiber was directly behind us with his entire family on a bicycle and got shut out for 17 Batmen from Staten Island.
That's hysterical.
So it was, and to see the look on his face, I mean, this guy's an Academy Award nominee at least.
Yeah. And then I saw him and I was like, oh my God. And I told a cop, I was like, you got to let him in. That's Liev Schreiber or whatever.
Yeah.
And they went and they let him in, but they didn't, like, he had to, like, talk him, and they finally let him in. And then me, I'm such a nerd, I watch Architectural Digest videos on YouTube.
As we all do.
Yeah, and he has 2 episodes, and one is like an open door of his first condo he ever bought.
Right.
And I've seen it multiple times. It's like 6 years old or whatever. And I just went up to him, like, huge fan. Like, he's like, thanks so much. And I go, I had my bat mask on, so, and I go, I love your Architectural Digest episode.
And what did he say?
He was like, oh wow.
That's awesome. He's a cool guy, Liev Schreiber.
Like, I know where you live and what it looks like.
Also a guy, I think he's been a boxer almost his whole life, like almost like borderline could be as good of he could have been a professional boxer if not an actor, so will absolutely beat the piss out of you if you ever get in his face.
He's such a cool guy.
Yeah, Ray Donovan.
I know.
Ray Donovan.
But he's very poised and has a lot of composure.
Because
you know, he's a smooth talking fellow.
Because I would have snapped if I was him. You know, I mean, I get cut off by 17 Batmen from Staten Island.
What was it? Was he like E.T.? Why was he on a bicycle?
I don't know why he was on a bicycle. I actually don't know why
he was on the bicycle.
Only him.
His family was walking.
Oh yeah, only him. Only he was on the bicycle. And I always forget he was in Scream.
He's Cotton Weary.
I always forget he's Cotton Weary. I always forget. But
it's so funny that people attach him to Scream, because unless I'm forgetting like a sequel that he was was just in like no lines. He was in like a video of the news on the news.
Yes.
Of the police taking him in cuffs.
Yeah.
He was in like a clip.
Yeah, but it was such a
and
big
people
movie.
are like, oh, he's in Scream, but he's like,
not really though.
It was 25 years ago, and he was in 10 seconds of it, I think.
So I think that that, like I said, it was the most fun I've had. Dancing,
throwing candies into the crowd,
having so much fun. Even Joe DeRosa was there, and I still managed to have fun.
That's right.
Even though he was the only one that didn't show up in the Batman costume.
Let's give him DeRosa. DeRosa says, I don't want to be Batman. Then he says,
I don't know why we're friends with him.
Fine,
honestly.
I'll be Batman. But he only wears the cowl and the cape with denim jeans and a black T-shirt. So he has 16 Batmen full blown.
Yeah.
Full-blown AIDS.
One bat, yeah.
And then he's just HIV positive.
HIV pos. Shout out everyone who's HIV pos.
God bless you.
Shout out heart medicine. Shout out all that.
Shout out positivity.
Shout out positivity.
Yeah.
Shout out PrEP. So most fun I've had.
Marching bands.
Oh,
DJs.
The gays know how to party is what I'll say.
Yeah.
The gay community. Who throws a better party than the members of the gay community?
Maybe only Diddy.
Maybe Diddy.
Yeah.
That's it. Diddy knows how to party.
Yeah.
That's it. But honestly, the gay...
It's neck and neck, gays and Diddies.
I mean, the floats that were going by, you know, mostly gay men and women were going by. The party that was on that float, we need to get a float next year for that parade.
I'm going to look into it, because I think you're allowed to do it as long as you go through the proper channels.
Whatever it takes, whatever it costs.
And we're getting every gay friend we have on that thing.
We'll
be Batman and the gays.
And we'll get Liev Schreiber.
We'll beat Diddy at his own game.
100%. And guess who's coming on? Liev Schreiber with his bike and his family.
We'll invite him.
Yeah.
We'll tie the float to his bike, and he'll cycle us through.
Now, one of the funniest bits that we had, here's some pictures. Wow, these are all Pimp's photos, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, what a
Pimp,
fun time.
You documented the shit out of
Pimp
that thing.
he
sent me within the next day. He sent me a Dropbox with 400 photos in it.
Pimp,
I was like, oh my God.
Pimp had a full documentary ready to go for Netflix the next day.
And you in full costume. You photographed the whole thing in costume.
Dude, Pimp had he filmed Ari Shafir peeing into a bottle underneath his Batman suit. Yeah. I mean, you filmed Ari committing a crime. We should hold that over Ari's head and blackmail him, because, I mean, we have evidence that he urinated in pubs.
I mean, Rogan already played it on his podcast.
Oh, he did? All right. So the little bit bigger
Ari
than
said
ours.
he'd come on and hang out and discuss if he wanted to. He's around.
We saw a lot of COVID needle, COVID vaccine card, costumes, which, you know, I think it's a good idea in theory, but it's a little hack now. It's like we get it. Everybody did it. I think 17 Batman was original.
I think so too.
I think it was original.
And I kept telling the cops, we got this.
Yeah.
Every time we walk past something, I'm like, we'll be on the lookout tonight.
Yeah.
They all appreciate it.
They all appreciated that. They all had their hands on their guns. Like, just take one more step.
You know who we didn't see? We didn't see any Island Boys.
We didn't see any Island Boys. It's a very
Right?
good
We thought
point.
it was going to be the thing.
Yeah, we didn't see any Island Boys. I got really drunk too because in our little tool belt things we had bottles of.
We planned it out right.
We planned it out right. You planned it out right. Sal does a great. Sal plans parties so well and is so good at partying that I think it pushes you over the line and you are gay. I think there's only a gay brain can do what you do.
The party mode in me is gay.
Is a gay man.
I will give Ari the credit for the mini bottles in the utility belts.
Ari Shafir gay.
Yeah. But
I'm gay, yeah.
We had all.
Don't be a fake, don't be a flake, don't run away from your feelings, baby.